In business loans, if you have a new project, then bankers would give you term loans. Okay. And that term loans security would be classified into two. If any assets are created out of the loan, it will be called as primary security, which are created out of loan. But apart from that security, the banks will also be insisting on some additional security, and the term used for additional securities are collateral securities, which can be either given by the promoters or third parties. Third parties will be very selectively accepted by the bankers. They'll be insisting that it should come from promoters or close relatives of promoters. So for new projects, term loans are available, it is possible, and the security aspects only touched here, not the other aspects. We'll have the other aspects in the subsequent sessions. And for existing business also, term loans can be provided. It can be for expansion purpose, I mean you add your capacity, or it can be for replacement, I mean you are going to purchase new machinery instead of the old one, or you get into a diversifying activity, or it can be even backward integration or forward integration. So the term loans would be available for existing business for all these kind of activities also. And the other kind of business loan is working capital loan, and it is available for both the new projects as well as our new business as well as the existing business. For existing business, it would be provided immediately, whereas for the new business, they'll be interested in knowing how the business picks up, and probably they'll have it in stage wise. So working capital loans is also available for routine operations. So what do I mean by routine operations? For routine operations, I mean the funds can be locked for routine operations, or the business would be requiring certain amounts of funds to meet the routine operations always. It can be for payment of salaries, wages, rent, power, etc. So for all this purpose, the business should be required to maintain certain amount of cash. So working capital loans can be, or it is possible, working capital loans are available for funding the routine operations where the funds have to be locked. And it is also possible that working capital loans can be funded for inventory locking. I mean, in business practice, you may have to keep certain amount of inventory as raw material for consumption purpose. Then some process will be there, so the raw materials will be locked in various stages of process, and finished goods they have to keep on shelf, or they have to keep in warehouse for quite some time before dispatch. So in all these stages, the funds of the business are locked. So the banks would fund that also through working capital loans, and they would also fund for receivable locking. That is, you make the sale, you get the money only after 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, depending upon the credit period. So all these days the funds are locked outside the business, so the banks would consider funding them also. So we have just understood that there are two kinds of loans. One is term loan and the other one is working capital loan. And term loan is available for both new project as well as the existing business projects, and working capital loan is basically for routine operations and the areas where funds have been locked, but that should have some backup security like inventory receivable. That's why the more focus is on inventory receivable and less on routine operations.